Welcome to The Cynical Developer, the podcast that helps you to improve your development knowledge and career through explaining the latest and greatest in development technology and providing you with what you need to succeed as a developer. We've recently launched our Patreon page, which can be found at cynicaldeveloper.com/Patreon. If you aren't familiar with Patreon, it's an easy way for those who are interested in this show to help out by simply pledging a small amount each month in sponsorship. Now that could be as little as $5 a month, which is about £3.80, or as much as you like. You will enable us to dedicate more time creating more content to help you, including videos, more blog posts, and even more shows. So if you can, head over to cynicaldeveloper.com/Patreon and get involved. In this episode, we finish off our mini-series on hackathons, finally, after me deleting the previous recording. And we're doing that by talking to fellow Hack24 hacker Toby Jones about his experiences at the event. Now, Toby is a computer science student from the UK. He's a seasoned hackathon hacker who's visited his fair share of hackathons in the past. So we're going to catch up with him, find out how he got on at the event and what he's got planned for the future. So welcome to The Cynical Developer, Toby.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on and being so understanding about my stupidity.
Oh yeah, no problem. We're all human.
Yeah, it was a very, very strange thing. That's what happens when you rush and you don't take your time. You screw it up, and then you try and do some data recovery, which should be simple, and that doesn't work. So you live and learn, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So
Hack24, quite a while ago now. But did you attend with a team?
Yes, I did. The original plan, actually, our team situation was kind of complicated because I originally went in with 3 people from my uni tax society. One of my friends was also going to the event, but he elected to go on his own because he just felt like it. But we changed our project idea while we were there, which meant that he could then join our team. I'll touch on that a bit more later. But we did go in a full team before in the end.
Right. Yeah, going in on your own. I know it's possible, and you can go on your own and you can get joined up with a team to do it, but I don't know if I'd want to go and attempt it on my own as a solo team.
I mean, I suppose it comes down to personal preference, really. I mean, some people prefer to just work on their own and get their heads down, get it done. Others sort of prefer to work with others.
Yeah, I guess you could go in with being the hero, go in and do it all. But I think last time, or the first Hack24 that we attended the year before this one, we went in and took it too serious. And I think if I went to one of these events and I went with the idea I was going to do it on my own, I would definitely take it too seriously and stress myself out.
Yeah, that's always a risk whether you go in on your own or go in as a team anyway. But still, yeah, definitely comes down to the type of person that you are and how you work. Yeah,
we made a conscious effort not to be overly serious and get too stressed out about the actual event and stuff, because that did happen last time, and people got a little bit upset with themselves for not performing. But everybody performed, everybody did their best, and that's what was good. This time we decided to just have a laugh and a mess around while we worked and while we got stuff done, and it worked in our favour.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's always good to not take it too seriously. Otherwise, you will just burn yourself out. You won't perform, as you say, and you'll just get upset with yourself. It's not a good experience all round. So definitely a good idea to sort of have a bit of a joke around, have a break every so often.
Yeah, it is.
Consume some of the Hack24 hot chocolate, which I heard was amazing.
Yeah, I have heard fabulous things, but I'm not one to follow the hype, so I didn't. I made a principal thing of not going and tasting it, but I now feel I missed out on something.
Yeah.
So you said that you went in with a hack, and there was 3 of you, and then when you got there, your hack changed so that the 4 of you could work together. What was your original idea?
So our original idea was actually aimed at people that go to hackathons. We wanted to create a portal whereby you create your team, and then you can add in all of your channels like your GitHub repo and your Slack and your like MLH account if you're doing an MLH sponsored hackathon, things like that. Just so it's easier for everybody to get together. We also thought of adding like a chat window to it and things like that, just to kind of bring it all into one place, because the initial coordination of the team could be quite difficult, especially when it's people you've never met. So that was our initial idea. But then we got there and we kind of went, we're not too keen on this idea anymore. So what we ended up doing was creating multiple hacks as a team, but like each of us work on our own hacks and just kind of help each other out. So we produced 4 hacks, one for each person in the team in the end. So that was quite nice.
Yeah, it's very similar to the approach that we took as a team. Last time we came in with one idea, which was thought by some members of the team to be dreadful, turned out to be dreadful and not well received. So this time the 4 of us had different ideas about what we wanted to do. So we said, right, let's all work on our own hacks. We got to like a half-time type point. We then went and presented to each other about what we'd done, what was visual, so that we could actually demo something, and we went from there. Now, my hack that I was working on, which was a mirror that would look at you and tell you, be able to work out if you were stressed out and stuff. So it was aimed at being put into elderly relatives' home. So if your grandparents or parents had looked at the mirror 3 or 4 times in the day, they were looking progressively more stressed, it would contact you in some way and say, look, there's a bit of a problem, we think. Go see them, give them a call, make sure everything's all right. But to do that, visually, it was a mirror and a webcam and like a text message or an email. It wasn't overly impressive, so there wasn't anything that we could do a really nice video around. So mine got binned off. One of the other hacks got put to one side as well, and we concentrated on 2 that we could actually do something visual with. Is that similar to the route that you took?
Kind of, but not really. So the way we kind of did it was we all had our own individual ideas of what we could make. So we just kind of embraced it and went with it and said, yeah, if you need help with this idea,
yep,
then we can sort of help each other out. We kind of left each other to our own devices in one sense, but still came together as a team in another sense.
Right. Yeah. So you sort of all did your own hacks. You all sort of attended on your own, but yeah, as a team on the same table, sort of thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What were the 4 hacks that you submitted in the end?
4. There were only 3. My bad.
Sorry.
Because there were 4 people, but one of them didn't submit a hack.
Right, okay.
So the 3 hacks that we submitted were mine, which was a anonymous sort of chat system. So what that entailed was you go to the site, you get a code that corresponds to a chat room, and you give that code to whoever, and then you both get put into a chat room. There's no usernames or anything, and the rooms get deleted after a certain amount of time. So the premise behind that was, say you turn up at a hackathon, you've match yourself into a team, perhaps people you've never met. You don't particularly feel comfortable with giving out your phone number. That's fine, but you still want to sort of be able to communicate with them. So that was the sort of rationale behind that.
Yep.
I still liked the idea of making a hack to benefit hackathon goers.
Yep.
So that was kind of my thought process behind that. The second hack we submitted was a multiplayer Connect 4 thing that works over the internet. So you both go to the site and then you join the same room, and you can play Connect 4 with up to 4 people, which was quite interesting.
Right, it's a different dimension on the game.
Yeah, you imagine it becomes very difficult to win, but yeah, it was really cool. Once we got it working, that was very much a learning process for everyone involved.
Sure.
And the third hack we submitted, I think this arguably is the coolest one, is my friend built a system that generates like an entire solar system and planets and like ecosystems on those planets just from one seed, and it's all graphically represented and things. So I thought that was really neat. That was written entirely in C++ as well. So yeah.
It sounds like that hacker was some sort of wizard to do that in 24 hours.
Yeah, he's he's a game developer by interest. So
right.
It was kind of in his sort of realm of interest.
Sure. Yeah, games development is always something that's intrigued me. It's something I actively warn new developers away from because it's all shiny and cool, but it's very very cutthroat. The remuneration isn't great, high stress levels, and there's a lot of competition for jobs out there. Whereas you can go and take data out of a database, manipulate it, and put it back, get paid well for it, and there's loads of jobs for doing that.
Yeah, exactly. It's people find it quite easy to sort of romanticize game development as this really cool, like, wow, you make games for a living kind of job, but it's quite different in reality, and I think it's important for people to sort of realize that. I mean, you should definitely so go for it if that's what you're interested in, but obviously you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, and I think that's what I try and put across. But being cynical, it always comes across negatively. And maybe it's part of my my ignorance more than anything, because I know that when you develop a game, there's a loop, and that's about it. That's as far as my game development knowledge sort of goes. I've never given the time to look into it any more than that, really.
Yeah, fair enough.
But your hack itself sounds pretty cool, but I think if you made it into a real world application, I could see you being sat in front of some very angry politicians at some point, where that application was maybe misused for certain purposes. Because
yeah, that was definitely a concern. Yeah. To be honest, it was kind of not really intended to be released to the public kind of thing. Yeah. So I didn't really, but that would definitely be a consideration if I was actually going to be releasing this. So perhaps maybe save a log of chats and things like that. So delete them so that they can't be changed, but obviously log them so that if they have been used for something nefarious, then.
Yeah, and I think I know this is a hackathon sort of situation, but I think when people get their little side hustles together and they start building stuff like this, I don't think they give consideration, or enough consideration at times, to that sort of stuff, to build belt and braces in there just in case. But it's always worth keeping in mind what dodgy things could come of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite easy to get swept up in the actual development of your hack. It becomes quite easy to sort of forget about things like that.
Yeah. So in the introduction, I said that you were a seasoned hackathon, so you've been to hacks before. So you've been to Hack 24 before?
No, this was actually my first one. Obviously, I've only been in Nottingham for a couple of years, so it's not exactly it's not exactly the easiest thing to get tickets. I actually was sat there, what was it, the Friday before the event started?
Yeah.
Refreshing Eventbrite's page so I could try and get tickets.
Practicing.
I think a few people were in the same boat as me as well.
Yeah, definitely was. As when the day came round, first thing I did when I got up was actually open the Eventbrite page, make sure that it would load and it was there ready to go. Because I know the year before they sold out within minutes, and it was very hard. 3 of us for the team got a ticket. The 4th guy, as the tickets went live, somebody brought him a sausage butty for breakfast, or a sausage sandwich for the other audiences out there that don't know what a butty is, and he missed it. But luckily, another ticket came up probably about half an hour later, and he managed to snipe himself one, which was good. But this year's one sold out in something like 20 seconds or something like that, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, they certainly sold out before I could get a ticket the first time round.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a very interesting coincidence with the sausage sandwich there.
Yeah, somebody was working against him somewhere for that to happen. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and this time they sold out that quick. Only one of us out of the 4 of us that were attempting to get tickets actually managed to get in. But luckily, he was able to get us 4 tickets, which was good. So we could go. I think there might be a rush on them next year to see if they can sell out quicker. But,
yeah, we'll see if we can sell out all the tickets in fewer than a second.
Yeah. And we're saying sell. Unlike a lot of other hackathons, Hack 24 is free, completely free. Food, events, everything. don't have to pay for any of it. So you just apply, and I think that's one of the other reasons why they're gone so quickly.
Definitely. Nothing like a bit of free food.
Exactly. Nobody should ever Nobody should ever pass up a free lunch.
Exactly.
So
things in life are free.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely are. They taste better as well when they're free.
Oh yeah.
So, how did you find the event? Because you've just said you've not been to a Hack 24 before, but you've been to other ones. How does it compare? Was it better? Was it worse?
That's quite an interesting question, because a lot of the things are very similar, and a lot of the things are sort of quite different. So, for one, this is the first hackathon I've been to that wasn't sponsored by MLH.
Right.
So things like the hardware lab and things like that weren't there. But yeah, it was mostly the same. I think the video portion of it was quite interesting as well. I've never seen that before. Usually the way it's done is you bring your laptop up onto a stage, you plug it into the projector, and you show off what you've made and just present for a few minutes. So I think the video was quite an interesting take on that. I suppose it definitely speeds the process up as well.
Yeah, I quite like the video side of it. I've not done any other hackathons apart from Hack 24 last year and this year. They're the only two I've done, and our team liked the video approach because none of us were particularly enthused about the idea of having to get up on stage. Now, as you are all aware, sat here listening to this, I'm a podcaster. Shock. Wow. Yeah, headline news. Cynical developer is podcaster. Another member of my team also has a podcast. He's got a blog as well that he actively writes for. One of the other team members has his own YouTube channel where he does development tutorials and things. And the fourth member of the team this year was a DJ. He'd been out and he played in, I think he played in Ibiza and places like that. He was some sort of proper famous DJ, but I'm not into that music, so I didn't really know. And I apologise if that upsets you. But none of us, even though we do all this sort of public speaking type stuff, really didn't want to get up in front of everybody there and talk. So doing the videos was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. The video side of it was quite interesting in that it gives you a chance to kind of rehearse what you want to say. Because a lot of the problem that people have with going up on a stage is people can get sort of stage fright. They can trip up on their words. I'm particularly guilty of this. I really don't like the whole presenting side of it personally. So I think the idea of doing a video, not necessarily have to show my face, not necessarily having to sort of regurgitate my lines live in front of an audience, was made it a lot sort of easier. Although obviously some people, it's still down to personal preference. So some people will prefer to go up on a stage and present. So it really comes down to how you prefer to do things. But my personal preference is to do the video, definitely.
Yeah, and this year the quality of videos was much better. We actually got to see most of the applications and how they worked. There was a couple of videos last year, I believe, that they didn't really tell you about what they'd done, what the hack was. They just seemed a little bit abstract, and I think they were just going for the weird, funny video rather than actually telling you what they did. But the bar was definitely raised this year. But it was good because at the end, when they presented the prizes and that, you got to see the video for the winning hack. So that was really nice, and like we said, it sped it up, so we didn't have to sit there and go through, was it 45 or something hacks that everybody's done. So listen to all the talks about each one, which was good. So I think it was only like an hour, maybe 2 hours or so that they spent doing the judging, rather than probably spending the best part of about 7 hours listening to us all waffle on.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've made a good point there about how the videos help to cut down the amount of waffling on that goes on, because usually the way it works with the stage presentation stuff is it's the judgment happens based on sort of what happens on the stage. So obviously you get to see everybody's hack, which is good, but obviously there can be times where it just kind of drags on a little bit.
Yeah, and as developers, I'm sure we've all been in one of those stand-up meetings where you've got one member of the team that just goes on and on and on and doesn't just get to the point about what he or she is supposed to be saying. And I can very well see that happening at these sort of events. And I think I would lose patience and have to walk out, which would be very rude.
Yeah, but I think the main takeaway point is it still sort of comes down to personal preference, and there are pros and cons to doing it either way. So
yeah, there definitely is. I think I would now give the live presentation a go, and that's off the back of the fact that I've done public speaking for other hobbies and other things that I do, but I've never done it for tech. Well, not up until a couple of weeks ago. I went to the IT Crew tech meetup in the UK, and I gave a talk on Alexa and .NET. So that was a daunting experience for me, but it was very well received, and I've been asked to go and talk at one of their other meetups, and it's possibly something I'll do again. So and that was only in front of sort of 20 or so people. So maybe next stage is at one of these hackathons and talk in front of the 100 odd people that we have attend.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of an interesting experience when you do it, especially your first time around. So,
sure. Did you win any of the challenges that you entered?
Unfortunately, not. I think that makes a good point about not going in expecting to win, because if you do that, you kind of you don't enjoy yourself. It becomes kind of less of a learning experience and more of a I have to do this to win type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the easiest way to not enjoy yourself at a hackathon. So
yeah, I think there was something like 6 or 7 challenges, and we had. I'm trying to think of how many entries there were now, but
it was about 40 odd teams, about 50, 60 odd entries, something silly like that.
Yeah,
because quite a lot. It was quite a high number.
Your team entered 3, my team entered 2, so that's 5 off of 2 teams. So if everybody entered multiple ones, it's a lot. So your odds are pretty slim.
Yeah, that was even mentioned during the intro presentation, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was, and we went in with the whole idea that we were just going to have fun. We were attempting some of the challenges, and if we didn't win, we didn't win. It wasn't a big deal. We were lucky enough to walk away with 2 of the challenges. We won 2 of the challenges, which was really good. Although I'm still trying to convince the wife that I haven't bought the stuff from Amazon. She's not convinced still, even when I've shown her photos. So, based on your experience of the event, would you go again? Are you planning to go next year?
Yes, definitely. I'll be keeping an eye out on that Eventbrite page for 2019 tickets.
Yeah, when we went to it last year, we were like, yeah, we're definitely going to go next year. And I had to reformat my laptop, and I dropped out of the Tech Nottingham Slack channel, and I forgot about it. I just happened across a tweet about it, and I was like, oh, that's soon. Quick, get back in there. Am I still in the Slack? Is everything still set up? And a bit of a rush to get it all sorted. But yeah, I'm already looking forward to next year, and I'm gonna have a look around for other hackathons as well to see if I can attend in some form, some shape, which would be nice. Whether I go and compete, whether I go and help out or something, I don't know. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's definitely something that I want to do more.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely encourage you to go out and look for more hackathons sort of actively, because they are a really good experience once you start getting into them. Especially as students, they offer a really good learning experience. But even as just for anyone, they're a really good thing to go to, both in terms of what you learn, what you do.
Yeah, I've been talking to my local tech meetup, which is Chester Devs, about doing a hackathon, and Fran, the organizer, has said, "Yeah, sure, we can do a hackathon if you organise it." So I was like, yeah. At the moment, I haven't got the time to, But it's definitely something I'm interested in pursuing at some point in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. I've never organised a hackathon, but I've now been tasked with organising my uni's hackathon for next year, so that'll be an interesting experience.
Oh, cool. That'd be good. So that's a hackathon for students at the uni then.
Not necessarily at the uni, but it's MLH sponsored, so it will be for students
All right.
across the country and across Europe, for that matter.
A lot of people will have heard you now refer to MLH or Mike Lima Hotel, for those of you not quite catching that because of the accents. Who are they? What do they do?
So MLH is a company that sort of operates a big league for student hackathons across the US and across Europe as well. So they work with independently run sort of like university hackathons, and give them sort of services such as help with organization. They give a hardware lab as well. So if people at the hackathon want to play with some hardware, like Amazon Echo, for example, they can provide that as well. So it's definitely a big thing if you're a student developer looking to go to a hackathon. Yeah. MLH is definitely worth looking at. And also they have a big portal, a big list of hackathons that are going on in the future. So if you are looking to go to one, then definitely have a look on MLH's website.
Yeah, that sounds really good. When I did my computer science degree, I don't even think I'd ever heard of the term hackathon. And I know what you're thinking. It wasn't that long ago that I did my degree, but maybe I just didn't pay enough attention. But I would have loved to have got involved with it back then. But never mind. I have to make up for misspent youth now with attending as many as I can without upsetting the other half too much.
Fair enough. In fairness, there has been quite a big resurgence in hackathons lately, sort of over the past few years. So definitely starting to pick up the pace now.
Yeah. And Hack 24 is in Nottingham, and when I spoke to Andrew and Emma about it, the sort of the tech community in Nottingham is huge, and there are so many tech meetups in Nottingham and out towards that way. Manchester's got loads, but around here we've got further into Wales, further down the coast from me, we've got North Wales Tech. Then you come a little bit closer to me, head out over the border into England, and you've got Chester Devs, which is the one that I try and attend more. A little bit further out, there's now the IT crew in Crewe, and they also run one in Stoke-on-Trent as well. But I think that's about it for the area, and it's 4, so it's a good number. But the Bangor one is really a long way out for me. It'd take me a good hour to get there. The Crewe one is 45 minutes in the other way, so I've only really got Chester Devs to attend. I believe there is another one that's just popped up in Chester, but I don't know too much about them, to be honest. So that insurgence is happening. The community's coming up, because I put it to Emma and Andrew, why is it so quiet in the tech community in the UK? And it turns out, in their opinion, and a lot of opinions that I've spoken to other people since, is that it's not quiet in general, but there are pockets of dead space, if you will, within the tech community. And I'd actually stumbled over Chester Devs, and they'd been sponsored by Shortlist Recruitment, who I've used to place myself and have employees off for years, and they'd never mentioned it to me. And I thought, we need something like this around here, and I looked at I was like looking to set a tech meetup up, and found them, and I was like, oh great, I can just attend, I don't need to organise one. And it is really good. It is really good. I do enjoy it, and I do think I'll probably be getting my hands a little bit dirtier with helping out a little bit more. I do a little bit of the streaming and that for them when I can attend.
Yeah, definitely. It's I definitely agree with you on the point that there are dead pockets of sort of quietness in the tech community, but also it's definitely a good idea to sort of look what's going on in your local area, because chances are there is something happening. You just need to look hard enough to find it.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're shouting loud enough, but then it is very hard to get in front of people. As a podcaster, when I interview people, I do ask them how they keep up to date with new trends and new technologies and stuff. Do they read blogs? Do they watch YouTube? Do they listen to podcasts? And probably 9 out of 10 developers that I interview don't do anything. And I think it's a mindset for the UK, because even for the cynical developer that I'm trying my hardest to push through the UK has a bigger following over the pond in the States, because I think it's a more accepted platform there. It's still very new and very up and coming in the UK. So anyway, we've gone off on a little bit of a tangent there, but back to the hackathons. If you get tickets next year, is there anything that you would do differently?
I think definitely a good thing to do next year would be to not do what we did this year in terms of how we structured our hacks. So instead of creating 3 okay-ish hacks that were kind of cool, I think if we pool together our team efforts and create one really solid, good hack, and show that off, we could definitely sort of create something really, really cool.
Yeah,
if we try hard enough.
It does sound good and a good attempt. I think what I'm going to suggest for next time, if we get tickets, or the next hackathon that we go to as a team, is that the hack that we did, that won the prizes, the guy that suggested that said last year that the hack we were going to do was a pile of unmentionables, and we ignored him and just got on with it, and he was right. And then his hack was obviously right this time, so I think it'll be a case of what does Paul want to do? We'll do that, because he's the ideas guy. The rest of us are just good at implementing it.
Yeah, it's definitely good to sort of pull together your team ideas as well.
Yeah, but we're almost out of time. So just to round things off nicely, are there any words of advice that you would give for the listeners out there if they are looking to attend one, if they've got tickets and they're about to go to one? What would you tell them to do?
Probably my top piece of advice is to just go in and enjoy yourself. The worst thing you can do is stress over getting a functioning hack, making everything polished, everything's got to be perfect. That's not the way you should really do it. The way you should just go in and learn something cool, enjoy yourself, and maybe you'll have like a finished product and make something nice. And if not, at least you can still take something away from it. You've still learned something. You've still attended an event, met loads of people, things like that. So definitely just go in and enjoy yourself, because obviously the worst thing you can do is just stress yourself out. That's kind of not what hackathons are about.
Yeah, that's all very good sound advice. I got to meet quite a few of the hackers this time, and I plan to force myself on a few more next time. I put a load of stickers out on the swag table, and they did go. So there are a lot of people wandering around now, at least in Nottingham, with my face on their laptop. At least that's what I'm hoping they've done, and they've not stuck it to a dartboard or something. So we've got to. I've got to get out and actually thank these people and talk to them, and make me a little bit more than just a voice on the internet. And it's great to actually talk to other fellow developers that have got a passion for this sort of stuff, because I found that you end up in a little microcosm where you find yourself being the developer that goes to these events, that reads blogs, that does that, that's always trying to push the envelope, and often you find yourself sort of isolated. And it's nice when you turn up to these events, because everybody's got pretty much the same mentality. They're there to enjoy themselves. They're there because they want to push themselves a little bit more and do something that is a little bit more fun than their day job or just their uni work if they're a student and stuff. And it is an experience. I've done a lot of other events and 24-hour events that in other hobbies, and there's nothing really that compares to what we do at a hackathon. And when I've explained what they are to people, they don't get it. They just don't get it. I was asked by one of the BAs when I said I was going to a hackathon. She said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "Well, we go to this event and we all sit round and we pick military government targets and we have to get in and get all the data out." And she was mortified. And I said, "Honestly, do you not know what one of these events is?" And she didn't. And when I explained it to her, I think she was more aghast that I was going to go and spend or waste my weekend doing what I do as a day job. But it's definitely a mentality, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely quite a niche thing. Obviously, I encourage everyone to try it, but I've told people, oh yeah, I'm going to a hackathon this weekend. They've gone, what's a hackathon? That sounds illegal.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely see your point there.
Yeah. So all you listeners out there, definitely go and find one, attend, find out if it's something for you. It might not be, but even if that event isn't for you, like we've said, Hack 24 is slightly different to other hackathons that are out there. Everybody does it in their own little different way. So don't just bin it off for want of a better word because you didn't enjoy that one. Try somewhere else. I think you'll get a lot from it, and it's always nice to make that make those connections with the other hackers there as well. You never know when it'll come in handy in the future for you.
Definitely.
Awesome. So thank you very much, Toby, for coming on and spending an evening re-recording this episode for us. It's
no
been
problem.
Good.
No worries.
And to everybody out there, thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this little mini-series. The next mini-series that I'm putting together is about productivity and dealing with what I'm calling the time bandits, the things that come into your day-to-day working that steal away all your time. So too much work in progress, unknown dependencies, people pulling you out of the office for meetings and just work that you didn't know was going to be there, all that sort of stuff. That's going to be sort of the monologues for the next few weeks in between the interviews. So hopefully you'll tune in for that. So thank you again for listening to The Cynical Developer. I'm James Sluddart, and this was Hackathons, the final episode. If you have any questions about this or any other episode, then drop us an email, a tweet, or leave a comment on the website where you can find all the resource links, show notes for each episode. And if you enjoy this episode, please leave a review on your favourite podcast platform, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is, and help The Cynical Developer to reach more developers around the globe.